Hello and welcome once again to Straight Bat, my weekly video blog where I express my personal views, as the title suggests, with a straight bat. This week, the world's largest cricket stadium was inaugurated in Ahmedabad, and India won the test match there inside 2 days against England. But the headline controversy was interestingly not so much what happened on the pitch, but what happened off the pitch. The decision to rename the ground at Motera as the Narendra Modi Stadium has sparked off much debate, much controversy, primarily led by the opposition, which saw this as a classic example of personal legacy building and unadulterated narcissism. Well, it's time, I believe, to separate the noise from the news and tell it like it is. Firstly, let's get this clear. The opposition and the Congress party in particular has no ground to stand on when it attacks the BJP and the Narendra Modi government over the name game. This is, after all, a country where stadiums, airports, auditoriums, roads, bridges, name what you will, have all been named after the Nehru-Gandhi family members. In fact, a right to information query raised in 2013 was answered by saying that there are over 450 schemes, that's right, 450 schemes, projects, buildings, institutions that were named after just 3 of the family members. That's after Jawaharlal Nehru, Indira Gandhi and Rajiv Gandhi. So the Congress should quit taking the moral high ground, in my view, on this issue of the naming business. All one can say is that the BJP is only following the grand tradition of sycophancy and hero worship that was set by the Congress when it was in power. Like the Congress, the BJP also now names government projects and institutions after its icons, be it Shama Prasad Mukherjee, Deen Dayal Upadhyay, Atal Bihari Vajpayee, or indeed now Narendra Modi. Yes, you could ask the question, legitimately some would say, as to why is a stadium being named after a living prime minister. But then didn't Mayawati in Uttar Pradesh rather famously build statues of herself? Yes, you could question perhaps that why is a stadium in Motera in Ahmedabad that was identified with Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel should now suddenly undergo a name change. But then again, almost every second institution in Gujarat bears the Patel name. So why not one after the state's longest serving chief minister, who's also now prime minister for the last 7 years? And incidentally, was also at one time at least the president of the Gujarat Cricket Association. Oh yes, the sports complex where the stadium is now housed has been rather cleverly named as the Sardar Patel Sports Complex. Sardar plus Modi, Bade Sardar, Chote Sardar. It's a Gujarati double dose in iconography. As is the fact that the 2 ends at the cricket stadium are named the Adani and Ambani ends, or Adani and Reliance ends. This again has generated some controversy, especially in the backdrop of the Modi government being accused by the opposition of favouring the 2 business houses, or as Rahul Gandhi, the opposition Congress leader, says, Hum do, hamare do. But let's be fair again. There can be serious charges of cronyism, for example, when the grant of airport tenders seem to go in a rather opaque manner to one business house. But to suggest that the 2 leading Gujarati businessmen have been conferred a special favour by having their name embossed at a cricket stadium, I think is stretching it too far. The rules of the game here are clear. He who pays the piper calls the tune. And the fact is, a cricket stadium, especially the world's largest stadium, needs big money. If the Adanis and Ambanis are sponsoring the stadium building, then, well, they have all the right to have their names associated with it. Okay, the optics clearly in the background of the farm protests in particular are not ideal to have a Narendra Modi stadium with an Adani and a Reliance end. But please don't forget, that in the 1970s, a cricket stadium in Mumbai, the Wankhede Stadium, had the Tata end and the Garware Pavilion, named again after two industrial houses at the time. No one complained then. So if it was okay then, why is it wrong now? Let's really cut the chase and come to my mind to the core issue. The fact is, this is a country where every sports stadium and cricket stadium in particular is named after either a politician or an administrator. A sports journalist, Mihir Vasavda, wrote an interesting article in December last year where he tells us 9 cricket stadiums in the country, 9 are named after Jawaharlal Nehru, 3 sports arenas each are named after Indira and Rajiv Gandhi, 2 grounds are named after Vajpayee, 2 grounds after Sardar Patel. The Firozshah Kotla was not too long ago named after the late Arun Jaitley. An indoor stadium in Kolkata is named after Netaji. 4 stadia in our major cities, 4 cricket stadia are named after cricket administrators. Chennai's M.A. Chidambaram Stadium, Bengaluru's Chinnaswamy Stadium, Mohali's I.S. Bindra Stadium and Mumbai's Wankhede Stadium after a former Congress politician and a Mumbai Cricket Association chief. Even the mighty Eden Gardens in Kolkata derives its name from the sisters of a former Governor General of India, Emily and Fanny Eden. Interesting that therefore not a single cricket ground, not one, my friends, is named after a cricketer. Also interesting, 2 cricket grounds seem to honor hockey legends, the KD Singh Babu Stadium in Lucknow and the Roop Singh Stadium in Gwalior. Also interestingly, 2 hockey stadia in Lucknow and Delhi are named after the great Dhyan Chand, while 1 football ground in Sikkim is named after Bhaichung Bhutia. But these are exceptions. The rule is stadia get named after politicians and administrators in this country. And therefore the sad and harsh reality is that we don't have a genuine sports culture in this country. Yes, we have millions of sports fans, especially for cricket, but we don't respect our cricketers enough to even think of naming stadia after them. In countries like England and Australia, their sports heroes are commemorated and immortalized in true spirit, honored and celebrated with statues, museums, and so much more. In India, my friends, we have very short memories when it comes to sporting achievements. Else, to be very honest, at least one stand at the new ground in Ahmedabad would have been named after the greatest son of Gujarat to play for India, the one and only cricket all-rounder, a certain Binu Mankad. Or indeed the Khel Ratna, the country's highest sports award, would not have been named after Rajiv Gandhi, but would have honored a sporting great of this country. Maybe, just maybe, one day a cricket stadium will be named after a Bharat Ratna like Sachin Tendulkar. Till then, my friends, let's just live with the fact that while cricket is a religion and Sachin may be the god of cricket, the real super gods are our super powerful politicians. As a postscript, let me share a story. A few years ago, after my father, the late Dilip Sardesai, passed away in 2007, a Goa Cricket Association official approached me with a proposal. He proposed naming a stand at the ground in Madgaon after my late father. As the only Goa-born cricketer who was born incidentally in Madgaon till date to play for India, I thought it was a great idea and instantly agreed. But there was a catch. The official told me that I would have to help him get a sponsor to guarantee that the naming ceremony would go ahead. This, my friends, is the state of our cricket associations and officials. By the way, the cricket ground in Madgaon is named after Jawaharlal Nehru. Nehru then, Modi now. From the first Prime Minister to the latest, what's in a name? Plenty. Thanks for watching. This was The Straight Bat. Do subscribe to my YouTube channel and thanks for watching.